Hello, wilders and walkers. So this is the grasshopper, and I'm taking you on a walk with me from the Río Seco on the east side of Torre del Mar to the Río Vélez, between two river mouths. Collared dove, I always see collared doves in the villages, but this is actually a beachside walk. Look at this pot garden. It just shows you what you can do if you try, even in an arid place. But of course this is, like I said, a seaside walk, and lots and lots of artwork, even on the toilet blocks. Amazing, but true. Down at further east at Caleta we have a fishing port, so the boats go past Torre, as you can see. But essentially it's a pretty and pretty well kept tourist town, including the little blue lighthouse, which is iconic. The birds here, there is wilding even at a tourist beach. The birds are mainly gulls, like this herring gull. Herring gulls dominate, that yellow bill with the little red dot, and they're fairly big birds. This, on the other hand, is a flying Mediterranean juvenile, black beak and a slimmer outline. But most of these are juvenile herring gulls, and they are the majority on the beach. You see them everywhere, and they're incredibly tolerant of people. The beaches are fairly clean. I have seen, sadly, litter on them, of course. Amazingly, this guy was running almost at midday in July. I took a snap because I couldn't believe it. Chiringuitos on the beach offer generally fish dishes. They specialise in outdoor barbecues with the barbecues. That little fish sign is to say that they'll have grilled fish. The other bird you see a lot at, very noisy, very silly, kind of comic, is the monk parakeet, and they are kind of charming and kind of annoying at the same time. Generally gulls and parakeets do not interact, they ignore each other, both omnivores, both looking for a free meal. But these two are right near each other. Look at the size difference, it's amazing. Parakeets aren't tiny birds, but they're a lot smaller than the gulls. And you see a sparrow next to the parakeet here, so you get another reference for size. The sparrow's a lot smaller. But obviously gulls dominate. These gulls, every time a jogger went past, they all flew up and then they all settled down, back down again. And you see that that brown pattern is typical of a juvenile. I'm so proud of this picture with the silhouetted kids and the flying birds. So there's lots to do. There's kayaking. You see people going to these out to sea, as well as people swimming. And I've seen people in diving gear. There's all kinds. There's a little kids' play park over there. I'm not a big fan of shaping trees, but that's not been nicely done. And there's loads of art. Here's Picasso's Guernica, which I do see a lot of, but it is fabulous. This is called La Luz de Andalucía, the light of Andalusia. I found it beautiful. That one, all those green leaves have a town in Andalusia, the name of it on. This is based on Liberty Leading the People, but this time she's on a beach, which is presumably why she's not worried about her dress falling down. I didn't get all the artists' names, which is a pity, because I decided to go for breakfast instead, a late breakfast, and I loved these photos of when Torre was literally a fishing village, and I had a classic Andalusian breakfast, a hot colacao and tomato and olive oil on bread, and then I went back out. It was pretty hot at this point, so it was nice to see the fountain. It's always nice to see water features. I love they do these goofy decorations on the recycling bins. Talking of which, basura organica and ceniceros is to get rid of your rubbish on the beach and not leave it lying around like some disgusting people do. There's also showers with goofy designs and a climbing frame. It's pretty child friendly. It really is a nice town. I've said it before, but I have to say it again. It's a pretty nice town. As I have to say, it does get kind of busy in August, but what are you going to do? I also like to see trees in towns, even if they're only palm trees, which are obviously imported or often imported, but we're all rather used to them on the coast of Spain, so it seems like part of the environment that should be there. I was pleased to see somebody in a wheelchair who was able to use the walkway to get onto the beach, because I thought it's nice that it's accessible. And I also like the climbing frame. I didn't have time because of where I wanted to get to, but I'd love to use that. Another wacky little statue for the showers, for the beach showers. And this is a trampoline, believe it or not, which is likely to be mainly used in the ferias and fiestas, and a bandstand, which will also be used in a similar way. I mentioned the lighthouse before. When I got close, I realised that there were house martins nesting on that rim below the lighthouse. It's typically illegal, or it's very much disapproved of for you to knock down the nests of these summer birds. And I don't know, I wouldn't be surprised if they cleaned it up because of it's iconic and the position it's in, because otherwise they'll end up with a colony there. This is pretty much the western end of Torre del Mar. You go past these wonderful boats with the eyes on them and things of that nature, and you come to this feria ground. You see people building more apartments. There's always building going on in southern Spain. It's kind of, if a photo doesn't have a crane in it, it's not from the area. But the enormous open ground is used as a feria ground for big summer parties, to the annoyance of people who are in those flats, and there's a parking space the rest of the time. And then there's a bit of... Here's more monk parakeets. I feel like they're saying, one of them's saying, "Oh, come on, I only said," and the other is saying, "I'm still not talking to you." And Berry Berry is, I believe, a very nice restaurant bar that they have music events at and things like that. So kind of a little bit more expensive for my budget, but there you go. It would probably be worth a trip if there was a good band on. I can imagine it being a fun place to visit. The beach along from this, past some rocks, if somebody parked up a little bit past the rocks, you suddenly find that you're on a dog-friendly beach. This isn't the Río Vélez that we're heading for. It's another little tiny trickle, and there's actually weed in the water, which is actually kind of a good sign because it means it's oxygenated water. But in that dog beach, I love the fact that they have a dog beach, even if it's only a little space. People with their dogs that can have a whale of a time and cool off, and there's a little gymnasium for dogs where they can run around and jump over things. I thought that was very positive. You can see the Osborne bull there, which is iconic for the whole of Spain really, and here you can see that people have their dogs. Horrified to see the wire that could have injured the dog that was running along the beach, because that's just abandoned, as has this. We were talking about litter, and there you go, and it's just gross. It's grotesque to see. But after the dog beach, we were at the area I'm coming into now, where there's all this giant cane. This is that end of water. There is the lagoon, the end of the lagoon, which is the Río Vélez. I didn't realise, even after taking these photos, that it's actually a nudist beach and there were naked people on it. I was unaware because I was so busy looking at the gulls. Here's some black-headed gulls. That is the name of the species, though they're not actually the only gull species to get black heads, so that's very confusing. But I believe these ones were moorhens and mallards. This lagoon, fantastic. The fresh water coming down to within a couple of meters of the sea and then sinking away into the sand. But that lagoon there, for birds like the moorhens and for many other kind of water birds, is a huge resource. And 2 years ago it was this big. And when I went down last autumn, it was nothing but a muddy puddle and a dead fish, and that's because we're in a very severe drought, and it's just a tragedy. It's just so sad. It's so awful to see that massive resource for wildlife disappeared like that. I saw all kinds of summer birds. There you go, in one shot, a barn swallow and a bee eater, which I was very pleased with. I wish it could have been a little more in focus, but you do your best. And that's pretty well the end of my little trip. I did walk all the way back, but I'm not going to bore you by retailing retelling all the events and that. I hope you like this little slideshow. I hope you'll visit Torre. Do you love or hate gulls and why? Some people hate them. Like and subscribe, guys. See you again.